Travel has a unique rhythm, the hum of an airplane, the gentle anticipation as wheels leave the ground, and the quiet excitement that builds as you soar above the clouds. Every journey begins with a sense of possibility, a promise of new experiences and stories waiting to unfold. There's the thrill of stepping into a new city, the rush of unfamiliar sights and sounds, and the anticipation of discovery that makes every destination feel like an adventure. But in June 2024, that rhythm was shattered. Tensions in the Middle East erupted suddenly, and the world of travel was thrown into chaos almost overnight. News of US airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities sent shockwaves worldwide, instantly changing the landscape for travelers. Airports that once buzzed with excitement now echoed with uncertainty and fear. Maps filled with new warnings, plans were upended overnight, flights were canceled, borders closed, and the familiar routines of travel were replaced by confusion and anxiety. For those in the region, the joy of exploration turned into a scramble for safety. Travelers who had come seeking adventure now found themselves searching for a way out, their priorities shifting in an instant. Imagine waking up in Dubai or Tel Aviv to headlines of military action. Suddenly, the world felt fragile. The ordinary became extraordinary, and every decision carried new weight. The focus shifted from sightseeing to survival, from adventure to evacuation. The sense of wonder was replaced by a need to act quickly, to find safety and reassurance in a world turned upside down. These events weren't just about politics. They were about ordinary people caught in the crossfire. Families, friends, and solo travelers all faced the same uncertainty, bound together by circumstance. This story is about how a single moment can transform travel, and what it teaches us about resilience and hope. In the face of crisis, people found strength in each other, and the will to keep moving forward. Even when skies are uncertain, the desire to connect and understand remains. Travel, at its core, is about more than just places. It's about people, and the enduring hope that carries us through even the most turbulent times. To truly understand the disruption that rippled across the region, we need to look back at the chain of events that led to that fateful day, and the mounting pressures that built up over time. Tensions between Iran and Israel had been escalating for months, with each side trading threats and warnings, and the world watching anxiously as the situation grew more volatile. The crisis reached a boiling point when Iran launched a direct attack on a US airbase, shattering any remaining sense of stability. The US, under President Trump, responded swiftly and decisively on June 24, 2024, with a series of targeted airstrikes on Iran's most critical nuclear sites: Fordo, Isfahan, Natanz, and Arak. These facilities, long at the center of international concern, were hit in an attempt to cripple Iran's nuclear capabilities. The stated goal was clear: to halt Iran's nuclear ambitions and restore a fragile sense of regional stability. But the reality was far more complex, with deep-rooted mistrust and unresolved grievances simmering beneath the surface. Official statements from both sides claimed success, but leaked intelligence reports soon suggested that Iran's nuclear program was only delayed, not destroyed. The world was left questioning what had truly been accomplished. A fragile ceasefire followed, but the air was thick with suspicion. Mistrust lingered, and the threat of renewed conflict hung over the region like a shadow. For travelers, the reality on the ground had changed overnight. Safety lines were redrawn, and every plan now required a new level of caution and vigilance. The aftermath of the conflict wasn't just about military strategy or political maneuvering, it was about how quickly the world can shift beneath our feet, and how ordinary people are forced to adapt to new dangers and uncertainties. The Middle East, a region rich in history, culture, and tradition, suddenly became a place where every journey demanded careful reconsideration, and where the past and present collided in unexpected ways. The new normal was uncertainty, an uneasy sense that nothing could be taken for granted, and that the familiar rhythms of travel had been upended. For many, the dream of travel was put on hold indefinitely, as borders closed and flights were canceled with little warning. The region's future, and the fate of its travelers, would never be quite the same, as the world watched and waited for what would come next. The airstrikes brought Middle Eastern travel to a standstill. Israel closed its airspace, grounding flights and stranding thousands at Ben Gurion Airport. Airlines worldwide rerouted flights to avoid the conflict zone, adding hours and anxiety to journeys. In-flight maps were redrawn in real time, a stark reminder of instability below. Governments issued urgent advisories, warning against non-essential travel to Iran and cautioning visitors to Israel. These warnings affected insurance, consular help, and personal safety. Even after the ceasefire and reopening of airspace, caution lingered. Airlines maintained altered routes and travelers faced new layers of tension. Boarding a plane in the region now came with a silent hope for peace. The travel industry adapted, but the sense of fragility remained. Every trip became a calculated risk. Beyond grounded flights and redrawn maps lies the human toll. In Iran and Israel, sirens and news of military action shattered daily life. Iranians faced new hardships and the fear of wider war. Israelis endured stress and trauma, with hospitals treating the psychological wounds of a nation on edge. The ceasefire brought relief, but scars remained. Families emerged from shelters, life tinged with anxiety. Travelers caught in the region faced confusion and fear, relying on hotel staff and embassies for guidance. The excitement of discovery was replaced by the need for security, yet crisis forged unexpected bonds. Strangers shared information, locals reassured tourists, and barriers dissolved. In these moments, humanity shone through the chaos. The experience was humbling, revealing both the vulnerability and resilience of travel. Even in darkness, people found ways to connect and care. Hope persisted, even as uncertainty lingered. Headlines tell us what happened. Personal stories reveal how it felt. In times of crisis, the news can feel overwhelming, but it's the voices of those who lived through it that truly bring the reality home. Each headline is just the beginning of a much deeper, more human story. A Spanish couple in Isfahan saw their dream trip turn to fear as explosions rattled their hotel. What began as an adventure quickly became a night of uncertainty, as they clung to each other, listening to the distant sounds of conflict echoing through the city. Their guide became their protector, helping them escape. He navigated darkened streets and tense checkpoints, risking his own safety to ensure theirs, showing courage in the face of chaos. In Tel Aviv, a Canadian family's vacation shifted from beaches to bomb shelters, their children frightened by sirens and uncertainty. The parents tried to mask their own fear, holding their children close and whispering reassurances as the world outside changed in an instant. Locals bore the brunt. A Tehran shopkeeper worried for his family's future, opening his store each day as an act of quiet defiance. Despite the tension, he greeted his neighbors, determined to keep a sense of normalcy alive for his loved ones and his community. These stories show the real impact of conflict, fear, hope, and the universal desire for peace. In every anxious glance and hopeful smile, we see the resilience that keeps people moving forward, even when the future is uncertain. A stranded Australian backpacker was taken in by a local family, a simple act of kindness he'll never forget. Sharing a meal, they found comfort in each other's company, bridging cultures in the midst of turmoil. In crisis, compassion bridges divides. Travelers and locals alike found common ground. Strangers became friends, united by the shared experience of uncertainty and the need for connection. These moments of connection are a testament to the human spirit's resilience. Even in the darkest times, people reached out to one another, offering support and hope. Even as governments clashed, ordinary people offered support and understanding. In crowded airports and tense border crossings, small gestures like a shared bottle of water or a helping hand meant everything. The stories remind us that behind every headline our lives changed forever. Families separated, friendships forged, and the course of countless lives altered in ways that may never make the news. In the face of chaos, small acts of kindness became lifelines. A gentle touch, a reassuring word, or a simple gesture of generosity could restore hope when it was needed most. The power of empathy endured, and hope, quietly, survived, reminding us that even in the most difficult moments, humanity's light can shine through. In crisis, knowing what to do is vital. Stay informed. Embassies and consulates are your lifeline for updates and assistance. Register with your government before traveling to volatile regions. Airlines and tour operators provide crucial information. Stay in close contact and check for updates. Have a personal safety plan, copies of documents, emergency contacts, extra cash, and essential medications. Share your itinerary with family or friends. As travel resumes, check the latest advisories and understand your insurance. Many policies exclude war-related incidents. Flexibility and backup plans are essential. With preparation and awareness, safe travel is still possible, even in uncertain times. The key is vigilance, adaptability, and hope. Over a year since the airstrikes, uncertainty still shadows the Middle East. The crisis has passed, but caution remains. Tourists and companies remember grounded flights and urgent warnings. Destinations like the UAE and Jordan have rebounded, but travel to Iran is still restricted. Israel's tourism has recovered, yet a sense of fragility persists. Travelers now ask more about safety, and advisories can change overnight. The political climate is tense, with renewed threats and ongoing negotiations. Every trip requires vigilance and preparation, yet the region's allure endures. Its history, culture, and hospitality still draw visitors. Travelers choose destinations carefully, rely on local guides, and stay informed. This new era of travel balances curiosity with caution. The desire to explore remains, but so does the need for awareness. The Middle East's beauty and complexity demand both. In conflict, it's easy to focus on what divides us, but travel reveals our shared humanity. Visiting a new place means meeting people, sharing meals, and discovering common hopes and fears. The 2024 crisis brought stories of kindness, locals sheltering tourists, strangers helping each other at airports. These moments counter the narrative of division, showing that ordinary people can build bridges of understanding. Travel gives us the human story behind the headlines, fostering empathy and challenging stereotypes. Responsible, thoughtful travel is an act of peace and solidarity. Even in difficult times, journeys connect us and support communities. Every trip is a step toward greater understanding. In a fractured world, travel remains a powerful bridge. Travel and politics are forever linked, as June 2024 reminded us. The skies can darken quickly, but these events taught us resilience and the value of preparation. The future of Middle Eastern travel is cautious optimism, requiring patience, diplomacy, and informed choices. Supporting affected communities, learning about cultures, and traveling when safe are vital. Every journey is a small investment in a more connected, peaceful world. Travel is hope in action, the belief that tomorrow can be better. The spirit of exploration endures, even under uncertain skies. We dream of a world with more bridges and fewer borders, and we look forward to the journeys and the peace that lie ahead.